What is up? What is up? What is up? It is your favorite demon, misunderstood demon, back with another Demonic Wave podcast episode. And today I want to talk about the video game industry just as a whole. And a lot of people throughout the years and everything, they've been talking about the video game industry is dying. It's not the same as it used to be. You know, not a lot of people are gaming as much. Whereas I like to say that is very much not fucking true. There are even more fucking gamers out there nowadays, in my opinion, because of the amount, just the sheer amount of games that are out there, as well as how easy, truly easy it is to access these video games nowadays. From the PS5, the Switch, the Xbox Series X, mobile, PC, everyone in the household has at least one of these devices. I mean, shit, I have 3 of them. I have a PS5, an Xbox Series X, and a fucking Switch. All right? The video game industry definitely is not dying, but what I will say is that it definitely is not what it used to be. And in this episode, I'm literally just going to talk about some ups, some downs, some loop-de-loops and shit that the video game industry has taken that I feel that's just how it is nowadays, you know? So let's get into it. Now, this first segment that I'm going to talk about when it comes to the video game industry is the question of, is it better to have disc or digital video games nowadays? And I feel like the way the video game industry is moving, it is way more in favor of anything digital. And I'm mostly just going to be talking about the pros and cons of both disc and digital and such. And I think what I'm first going to talk about definitely will be disc and kind of the cons of it, because I feel like there's slightly more cons versus pros nowadays. But, you know, I digress. Because I have a PlayStation 5, I have a disc version of it, and I have an Xbox Series X that is the disc version. But one thing I will tell you is the amount of games that I have on the PS5, because the PS5 I had for the longest, because it's the one that I wanted the most. One thing I will say is that I do have disc games, but it is very, very, very little. I have about only 6 games on disc. That's it. 6 games on disc. When it comes to digital, that's more than 90%. That's about, if I were to put it in percentages, I would say that's about I have about 98% of my video game library is digital. And then that 2% are like the 6 discs that I have. That's about fucking it. The reason being is because one con with disc is the amount of clutter that it produces. Now, back in the day, everything was disc. You didn't really have digital until, you know, that of something like the PSP, or, you know, especially the PSP Go, or later on when, you know, like the PS3 was coming around, and, you know, like the new Xbox and everything, like the 360, or, you know, others. And now the consoles are just like, oh yeah, we also have, you know, instead, if you don't want to buy a disc, you can just get it online, and then it'll just be right there. You know, one thing is when it comes to clutter and everything, as you continuously buy these discs and everything, it's going to build up clutter, right? But you have to use that clutter. You know, you have to use that for other things. And when it comes to clutter and everything, your room or wherever, it starts to feel like it's a little bit too much and everything. And it's just like, you know, there's so many fucking discs that you have that it's so fucking annoying having to go through them and everything. And because one thing that I did, this was back in the day, was I didn't put discs back in their original cases, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done that. So to have a massive fucking clutter of video games, and then to have all of them be fucking mixed matched and not know what fucking game is in which fucking case, is so goddamn annoying. So fucking annoying. Let me just say that, okay? So, I mean, that's kind of just like a small little gripe that I have when it comes to this and everything, is just the clutter. But another con that I feel discs have when it comes to video games are not everywhere is going to have the copies. Not everywhere, Target, Walmart, GameStop, they're not always going to have that, you know? You could go to your local GameStop or Target or Walmart or any other places that you go to that sell video games, and it's just like, oh, we don't have those copies. No, we don't have that video game anymore, you know? Some shit like that. And it's just like, well, if you did it digital is always there. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's just like, I wanted the copy and everything like that, but now it's just like, I can't get it. And that's another thing. You just can't always have those copies because they're not always going to be there. You know, I would definitely say PS5 or like Xbox Series X games. Yeah, you could probably get more copies. You know, there are definitely most likely going to be more copies there. But I think throughout the years, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know, I haven't looked it up or anything, but, you know, this is just purely off of what I do know is that video games, when it comes to making their copies and everything, they definitely have dialed it back when making disc games, because it's just like, you know, looking at the numbers and everything, and it's just like more people are buying digital, more people are buying online than they're going into a store and saying, hey, I want that copy of such and such, because it's a lot more simple. It's a lot more quicker to get the game. Then I have to go out, I had to fucking put on fucking clothes and go out, drive all the way there, and then, you know, pay money and all that shit. If you get it online, you can literally just boot up your fucking console or boot up the fucking app itself. Mostly the PlayStation app. The Xbox One doesn't necessarily work, but, you know, just boot up the app or anything. And then you can literally just be on the fucking toilet and then buy like 3 fucking video games. And then they're already downloading to your fucking console. Because that's how simplistic and how easy it is for digital versus disc. And another con that I feel that disc have, and this is kind of just the way the world is and kind of how people are nowadays, just the difference in switching a game, it can be so monotonous. I feel the way people are nowadays, especially with that of social media and like, you know, reels and just scrolling and everything, our attention spans as people has dwindled, very much dwindled. Not just our attention span, but as well as, you know, our patience for things. You know, I feel like the way reels are and the way, you know, a lot of video games and anime, cartoon shows and everything is it's a lot of deep meaning, like quick, in a sense, like quick, short, explosive, impactful events and things that happen, you know? And it's just like, oh, this happened within like 5 seconds. Cool. I'm still like engaged because it's only been 5 seconds and, you know, I'm still good. Take something that is going to take like fucking a minute to 2 minutes to actually pull off, and it's just like, I'm done after the first fucking second. Switching a disc just to play another game can be very monotonous at times, because it's just like, oh, I have to stop playing this game, I have to eject this disc, I gotta put it back in the case, I gotta find the other one that I want to play, I gotta make sure the disc works, then I have to put it in and everything, make sure that works, make sure it's readable on the PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. And it's just like, all right, cool. Sure, that can take maybe like 30 seconds, a minute tops, if you have to find the fucking disc itself. But for a lot of people, that 1 minute, that 30 seconds, that can be a whole entire motherfucking century. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm still putting the disc in and doing this. It's very short. But at the same time, it's just like our attention span, our patience and everything, it has dwindled throughout the years. Definitely dwindled throughout the years. And it's just another small little thing that is just like, that's why digital is slightly better. You know, you can literally just stop playing the game and then start another game like that. You know, you don't have to wait. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to get up or anything. You can literally chill from the comfort of your bed, your chair, whatever. You don't have to change anything. All you have to do is just switch up the fucking game. You don't have to put a different disc in. And that's another thing. I feel like the way the video game industry is they understand that digital is the future. And I mean, look at the most recent consoles that we have. The fact that both Sony and Microsoft made the PS5 as well as the Xbox Series X, and then Sony made a PS5 digital version of that. And the Xbox Series X has Xbox Series S. And that is completely digital because they understand that not a lot of people are going to go out and get discs. Not a lot of people are going to do that because everything is digital. Any game that you want, there's no copy of it. You can just buy it online. You can just buy it in the store because you know that it's going to be there because digital never runs out. That's the thing. Copies, they run out. You can never be guaranteed a copy of a video game, but you can always be guaranteed a copy of a digital game. You know, you can always be guaranteed that you can get it digitally, but you can never be guaranteed that you can get it physically. And that's another big thing. The fact that they created two consoles, basically, Sony and Microsoft, the fact that they basically created two consoles. And one of them is, you can get the disc, but the other one is you can also just get it digital. They understand that, hey, not a lot of you are going to get the disc. Like, a lot of you will most likely get the disc, but it's just like, we're just going to, downgrade it in a sense by just taking away the disc. And it's just like, those are going to get sold out just as fast because everybody wants to just go straight digital because, again, not a lot of people are going to be going into Walmart, Target, GameStop, a bunch of all these other places and just getting the fucking discs because they're not always guaranteed again. Those are mostly those are the biggest cons when it comes to digital things. Another thing is that the disc might not fucking work and then you just spent like $60 on a video game and it doesn't even work. And then second thing is you're not even going to get all that money back. So there's that. That's another big con. That's another big one that is just like, fuck all. That's basically just a fuck you in a sense. Because it's just like, hey, you just spend all this money on a disc. It's pre-owned, so, it probably has a little wear and tear. Yeah, this motherfucker destroyed the disc. You can't even play it. There are so many negatives to getting physical discs. That is one of those where it's just like, just get maybe like one or two games physically, and then it's just like everything else, just leave it as digital. Just leave it as digital because at that point it's kind of just like it's not even worth it to get physical because it's just like there are so many games out there with copies, but it's just like none of these you want. None of these are what anyone wants really sometimes. And even then it's kind of just like I don't even really want to pay it. Just because it's just like I don't want to go out or anything. A lot of people nowadays have become very lazy, in my opinion. A lot of people have become very much lazy. And, that can definitely be due to the fact of, with COVID and just in general, the way the world is, aka sucks fucking fat donkey nuts. But a lot of people don't want to go out as much. A lot of people don't want to go and, do this, that, and the third and, go out and just hang out. Nah. A lot of people are just going to kick back, relax with some video games, anime, cartoons, or a show. And how they going to do that? They're going to watch that shit online. They're going to play online. They're going to do this, that, and the third. So what's the point of having to go out and get a game physically if you know that you can literally just kick back, relax, and then just buy a game digitally and then you're playing it later on? In about like an hour or two. All you have to do is just wait for it to download. That's one big thing when it comes to discs that I feel are just the cons of it. But there are some pros to it. Don't get me wrong. There are some pros. And I'm just going to get into that real quick. All right. So to kick off this segment about the pros of having disc games for video game consoles, that made no fucking sense. One pro, definitely, I have to say, are pre-owned stuff. Those are some good fucking shits, man. I have a decent amount of the games that I own that are physical for my PS5. A decent amount of them are pre-owned. And the reason for that is they're always cheaper than what the original price is. A lot of video games nowadays, especially AAA games, are usually $70 starting, and then it'll just skyrocket from there. Everything will be 70, 80, 90, sometimes over $100 fucking dollars and everything. And it's just like, on digital, you have to pay that. You just have to. But when it comes to physicals and everything, there's always going to be deals going around on like the GameStop, online with GameStop, Target, Walmart, whatever. I always say those three because those really, they have an electronics fucking section. So, and GameStop is GameStop, but there's always going to be deals for physical copies of video games, and there's always going to be pre-owned ones. And because they're pre-owned, they're gonna go dip down in prices. Digital games will never dip down. You have to wait. And when I say wait, you have to fucking wait for that shit to go on deals, to go on sale. Hell, if a game bombs, like really fucking bombs, you can expect that shit to go on sale in about a month or two. That's not even a joke, because I've seen that happen. I've seen a game that it first came out, bombed, and then it was on sale for about 60% off a month later. But when it comes to physical games, you don't necessarily have to wait that long. There are a lot of people that will just give in some pre-owned stuff, and you can get a lot of shit cheap. When I say cheap, you can get shit cheap for like AAA games and everything like that. You can get them cheap. And it's mostly just because when it comes to digital and everything like that, the digital market versus the physical and everything, there's a big difference, right? But overall, physical copies of video games will always go for cheaper just because it's just a disc, in all honesty. And also it's, in a sense, a dying thing. Discs and everything, they're a dying breed in a sense. Throughout the years, there's just been less and less physical copies. So to get a shit ton of games for physical, yeah, you're not really going to be spending that much. Hell, you can get like a shit ton of games for the price of one fucking massive game digitally. You can get like 5-6 games. And I mean, I've done that. There's so many sales that goes on, from Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to just run-in-the-mill fucking deals that is just like buy one, get one free, buy two, get one free, and shit like that. You don't see that happening a lot on the PlayStation Store or Xbox and, shit like that. You don't really see that a lot. You don't see buy two, get one free, buy one, get one free, buy one, get one 50% off. Oh, we're having this deal just because fuck it, why not deal? You're not gonna see that. And that's a big pro for physical games, because those will always be on sale. No matter how new it is, no matter how old it is, you're always gonna find it somewhere out there in the fucking universe, in the fucking online stratosphere. You're always gonna find a physical copy cheaper than on digital. You usually will, right? And that's just one thing that's just like, that's fucking amazing. Of course, there's a lot of games and that won't happen just because, it's too new or, whatever. But that's one big pro about having physical copies. You know that you can get a decently well-made game for cheap. And that's a big pro. That's a big positive. Another pro would be, that's kind of it. I'm going to be honest with you. Having disc, it mostly comes down to the deals, in my opinion. Just the deals. If I had to say another pro, I would say, actually, no. There is one more pro that is actually very good for discs, and that is space. Now, what do I mean by space? Digital games usually take up more space on your consoles than physical games. Reason being is because a digital game is fully digital, right? So it's going to put the entirety of that game on there. Whereas with a disc, it's not going to be the entirety of it. It's a disc and everything, but it's not going to be overbearing when it comes to the file size. A digital, so for example, let's say one game you get digitally, especially these new games, is going to be like 80, 100 gigabytes. Easy. Fucking easy. It's going to be like 80 to 100 gigabytes. But then you get a physical, and now that starts to dwindle a little bit. Sure, it'll probably be high. Still be high. But now it's kind of looking like maybe like 70, 75, when it comes to the storage space and everything. And it's just like, hey, that works. That's an extra couple of gigabytes I can save for another game to install later on. And there's nothing wrong with that. And another thing is, that's just good for the system and everything, because sometimes the system can't take all the digital shit, but physical, it's fine. But I'm gonna be honest with you, those are kind of the only pros that I can truly think of for having disc. There are a lot more pros to having digital than to have disc. There are a lot more pros to digital than there are cons, but there are cons to digital stuff, and basically it's the pros of the discs. So let me get into that real quick. Now, I talked about the cons of discs, but now let's talk about the cons of digital video games. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's a decent amount. One thing are basically the pros of disc or the cons of digital. Deals as well as storage space. So I'm not really going to get into those, but basically digital usually will take up more space versus, disc. And also there are a lot of games, because it's digital and everything, they're going to stay those big fucking prices for a minute, versus disc, you're always going to find deals. You're always going to find sales, really good sales that go on maybe like a week, 2-3 weeks later of a game that you want. And it's just like, holy shit, I just got this game, and that I didn't buy day one, I just got it for cheaper. So those are two cons for digital. But another big thing when it comes to digital is buying it. Now, what do I mean by that? A big one I would like to explain on is PlayStation. Now, PlayStation used to be, you can buy a digital key, like on Amazon or whatever. You can buy a digital key, right? Sometimes it'll be cheaper because it's just, you're buying it for slightly cheaper, and it's never really going to be the full price versus if you buy it from the PlayStation Store itself. And, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And another thing, and the Xbox actually does it, you can buy stuff online and give it as a gift to people or anything like that. One of my friends actually did that. One of my friends had a code for a game that he bought digitally, and he gave me the code, and it works. And it's just like, oh, man, that's cool. You can give codes to people and just be like, that's interesting. But the way PlayStation did it later on in the years, coming into 2023, is you can't really buy digital keys anymore. You can't get a digital code for PlayStation. If you hop on Amazon, or if you hop on, GameStop online or Target or Walmart or any other places, like GameFly or some shit like that, you're not going to be able to find that. Because PlayStation wants to make more money. Because, when looking it up and everything, and I did this way back, but I remember it, to put those games, like the digital codes and everything on Amazon, the Sony and everything, they have to pay Amazon for putting their shit on there. And Sony is just like, yeah, I guess we're just not going to do that anymore. So not only can you mostly just buy most like PlayStation games on the store, of course they're going to hike up the prices usually. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, but they can do that. Because say you want a game, but there are no physical copies of it anywhere, you can't find a digital key for it or anything, the only option left is just to buy it digitally on its own store. And you have to pay it. It's not on sale. There's no deals going on for it, anything like that. You're a PS Plus member, but there's no deal for that. You just have to buy it outright. And it sucks. Because buying digital games, usually you're paying a lot of money for shit. And it's just like, you kind of don't really need to pay that much. But because it's digital, you don't really have a choice. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've made that bed. I've fucking made that bed. I've bought so many fucking games digitally. And sometimes whenever I buy a digital game that's like day one release, I'm just like, oh, my bank account just sighs. And it's just like, damn. You just spent like $80 on a game that you probably will play for maybe like 20 plus hours and then be done with it. It's like, holy shit. That's insane. But, that's a big con for getting digital games, just buying it. And in a sense, how scarce it is in a way, because, and that, like I said, that's mostly for like PlayStation or anything like that. You can find digital keys for Xbox games or Switch games and everything. You can find keys for that. Hell, look at fucking PC. You don't need discs for PC. Just buy a fucking key for it. Just buy a code, whatever. But it's just the small little things like that. It feels like digital is the way to go, but at the same time, it still feels like it's not the way to go for a lot of people, because it's just like, money wise, it's a lot. It's just a fucking lot, you know? And that's just the biggest thing. That's like the biggest con when it comes to having games digitally and, you know, everything like that, because it's one of those where it's just like, holy shit, you know, one, it's more storage space, so you're gonna have less storage space for any other game. 2, you're gonna have to pay that shit outright. And 3, you have to go on the actual fucking website itself. You can't get it cheaper for a digital. You can't, because even then, even if there are codes out there for shit, because there are codes for like PS4 games or anything like that, because PS4 game still had digital codes. Even then, you're still paying that full price, and that's what sucks. You could change it on GameStop to be like, I just want digital. You're paying that full price. It's not gonna have a deal. And it's like, why? It was just like, because it's digital. They're trying to make that full money. And it's just like, that's insane. That's the biggest thing when it comes to digital stuff. You just have to pay that shit outright. There's just no way of getting around it usually. Sure, there will be stuff online, and maybe, you know, you get to like deep and like get to some sketchy sites here and there and everything, you possibly find a key. But other than that, if it isn't an Xbox game or a Switch game or PC, you're shit out of luck, really. And even if it's like Xbox or Switch or whatever, you're still gonna be paying a hefty price. It doesn't really matter. Digital, just as a whole, the gaming industry and these and the big conglomerates, they understand that digital is the way to go. So we're just gonna hike up these prices, and you know, we're not going to put deals on them until like a year or 2 later. Unless the game, like I said before, unless the game fucking bombs. And then it's just like, okay, we'll cut down the price by like 20%. And it's like, damn, I'm still paying a decent amount, huh? And it's like, yup. It was like, we're still trying to make this fucking money back, bitch. But that's the thing. That's the biggest con when it comes to digital. If I had to say what another con for digital would be, I think definitely just buying digital games day one and they aren't necessarily playable. It sucks. Having a lot of, but I'll get into that, but that'll be in another section about like, you know, video game releases and everything like that. But if I had to say what another con was, it would definitely be refunds. And this is kind of another con also for this, but more so for digital. Once you buy shit digital, you're fucked. You basically are locked in. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like some type of it's like a commitment, basically. It's like, I'm committed to doing this. You can't fucking back out. Once you press buy, you're fucked. You can't necessarily like get your money back digitally. Sure, with this, you can get money back. It's not going to be the full price. It's definitely not going to be the full price. It'll never be the fucking full price. But digital, you're fucked. I think I remember I looked it up for PlayStation about refunds. And for PlayStation, the refund went, if you bought something digital, I think it said you have about a week. Can't have played it, like, at all. You know, and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's stupid. Because what if you wanted to play the game? There's no demo for it. You wanted to play the game. Figured out you didn't like it. And then you wanted to return it the same day. And it's just like, well, you played it. So, sucks. And it's just like, well, what the fuck? Refunds, when it comes to digital games, I feel like they still have not put it down as this is the solid way for refunds. You can do refunds easily, you know. There can be a section in the PlayStation Store or Microsoft or Xbox where there's a section where it's just like, oh, I would like, you know, my money back. And then, you know, explaining why it is or whatever, like a little fucking survey or some shit of why you want your money back and everything. And then guess what? You get your fucking money back. But online digital shit doesn't have that. You can't necessarily get your stuff refunded that easily. Now, of course, That's the same for anything else, really. There are a lot of times where, publishers and everything, they'll give money back, they'll refund the money. But that's when, like PC, that's when shit bombs. That's when shit really bombs. Oh my God, that's when shit bombs. That's when people are start to send fucking death threats and shit. And it's like, you know what? Maybe we should get money back. This is getting scary. This is horrible. But it doesn't happen all the time. That's just the biggest thing. Once you buy a fucking digital game, that is a commitment that you cannot lock out of. You cannot lock out. You're locked in. You can't lock out. You're locked in, motherfucker. You're locked the fuck in. You just can't turn it off, in a sense, You are committed. This money that you just spent for this video game, that's it. You can't necessarily get that money back. You can't necessarily... Sure, you can delete the game from the system and not play it, but guess what? That money is still gone. You know what I'm saying? That 1 second, that one hesitant second that you should have thought, maybe let me give it another second of hesitance and then not buy it. It's too late. You press buy, you press purchase, you got the confirmation. There it is. Digital games do not make it easy for refunds, and they don't make it easy for buying them, and they also don't make it easy for storage, like on the system itself and everything like that, and they don't make it easy for deals. Those are the biggest cons when it comes to digital. But there are a decent amount of pros, and like I said, the pros are basically what the cons were for discs. So let's get into that real quick. The pros of buying games digitally. As someone whose basically entire fucking catalog of video games is digital, I can definitely say there's some good shit about buying games digitally. One, just like in this, the storage, physical storage. Yeah, you really won't have it. You'll have it on the system itself, but when it comes to physical, cases flip-flopping everywhere in your fucking room and, having to find this, that, and the third, you won't have it, which is good because especially if you're like a neat freak or anything like that, and you like to keep things organized, sometimes it can just be overwhelming. Especially if, like me, if you're a very big gamer and you just enjoy nothing but video games for majority of your life. Also enjoy other shit, but it's mostly video games. Shut up. You're gonna get a lot of games. You're gonna buy a lot of fucking games. And just thinking of the sheer amount of video games that I myself have purchased, thinking that if I were to get this if I were to get it physically, I'd be fucked. Because I may have a decently a decent sized room. It's not big enough to hold all them fucking cases. I will tell you that right now. I will literally always have to fucking rearrange my room just to fit the fucking cases, and it will be fucking annoying. And another pro is playing digital games. It is quick. It is easier than playing on disc. Again, like I said with this, for the con was that a lot of people's attention span and their patience has very much dwindled throughout the years. COVID had a big impact on that, but just people in general just being, in my opinion, just fucking lazy pieces of shit. And I can say that because I myself am a lazy piece of shit. Our attention span has dwindled just so much. And the way digital is, the fact that you can change a video game, change from playing fucking God of War Ragnarok to Spider-Man 2 is phenomenal on digital, because it's just like, oh, I can literally just close out this game and then just start another game, and then it'll just close that other game automatically. I don't have to worry about anything else. And because it's digital, I don't have to worry about getting up and, changing the disc, make sure the disc works and everything like that. That's a big pro for digital. That's just a huge pro for it, in my opinion. It's just like, we found more ways to be lazy. That's fucking awesome. We found more ways to be lazy. Give me that. Like fucking drugs or I don't fucking know. But just the fact that changing games and everything makes it so much easier is just so fucking amazing. in my opinion. It's just it's a huge pro for digital stuff. And people, and like I said, the industry understands this. These publishers, the gaming companies and everything, they understand that as well. They like to make everything more optical for digital than disc, you know? Yes, there are less copies out there in the world. Yes, there's not as much out there when it comes to physical copies. Yes, everything digital will never run out. It will never run out. That's another big pro. It will never, ever run out. Ever. There are a finite amount of physical copies of something. Less now than way back in the day. Way back in the day, it was nothing but physical shit, right? So it felt infinite to have that. But nowadays, it is now finite to get copies of shit. Whereas you go on digital, it'll be available forever. There will never be a time where a digital game is out of stock, because how the hell is that even fucking possible? It is more worth it to get digital than physical for that big fucking reason. And one thing, for example, I tell my mom, she's like, I don't know what game to get you or anything like that. I literally just tell her, just give me a gift card. I'll buy the game online just to make it easy. Because it's just like, it's not even worth it to be like, oh yeah, just get this game like physically and everything like that. It's not even, we don't even know if it's available. She doesn't even know if it will be available in stores or anything like that. But digital, she can literally just be like, okay, I'll just give you enough money for it and you just buy it online. I'm like, yeah. She'll know it's online. She understands that. She knows that everything online will be there when it comes to the game. Like everything digital, it'll be there. But physically, it might not. That's a big, very big pro for digital, right? And I feel like when it comes to pros, that's kind of it. But those are some big fucking pros. The fact that it'll always be there no matter what. It's good for our attention span as people as a whole. The pricing might suck, but sometimes there will be deals out there, and sometimes the deals will be good. Like I said, always look out for the deals, but you know, not a lot of storage mishaps or anything physically. You know, now it's gonna be a lot of clutter and everything, and overall it's just the way the world is going. Digital is going to be the full future. There will be a time where disc will no longer be a thing, in my opinion. And I think it will be true. Not soon. Definitely is going to be a minute, but it's definitely going to happen. One of these days, disc just will never be a thing anymore. Never be a thing for video games. And hell, it's getting so close to that. I own, and I'll say it like this. I know I talk about my PlayStation, but for my Xbox, I own absolutely 0 physical games of anything. I own 0 physical copies because all of the games on my Xbox is either Game Pass or I bought them online. Why? I don't want the clutter. I don't want to worry about they might not have the copy like in store or anything like that. But for online, I know it's gonna be online. It will forever be online. It's just more convenient for me. Those are the biggest pros for digital. But now I'm going to get into, and I was kind of talking about it a little bit in one of the earlier segments, video game launches, like day one launches. And let me just fucking get into that fucking mess, all right? The world of day one launches. Back in the day, they were something else, man. I remember there was a game, I think it was actually the Naruto Ninja Storm 4, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, and it was like a day one thing, and people were lined up for this shit. Holy crap. people loved the fucking Ninja Storm games and everything. I'm not gonna get into the new one because I don't have it, but I've seen a lot of people are just like, just get the original because it's fucking worth it. And honestly, I kind of agree. But I digress. Let's talk about launches, like video game launches, and just how different they are nowadays versus what they were back in the day. One thing I have to say that sucks is a company can release a video game, whether it's a AAA game or, like an indie little project. They can basically release it and it's like half fucking finished, somewhat playable, but there's glitches, there's bugs, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and it's kind of just like, why release it in this state? Biggest ones that I'm thinking of, and I'm pretty sure you will agree: No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know why I just said Cyberpunk, but you know what I'm talking about. But No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077. There were some of the Fable games, and a couple of others. But majority of games that release day one, you're going to find bugs and glitches. That's just a guarantee. Whereas back in the day, it was kind of just, you release it and it's good, like it's complete, or you're fucked, basically. And it's just like, you can't necessarily update it. Whereas nowadays, you can release a game day one and just be like, oh, it's not done, don't worry about it. The patches will come for it about like a month later, or like a week later or anything. It's going to be like a big fucking patch thing. And it's just like, well, I wanted to play it like in its fullest and like its best capacity out the gate. And I can't even do that. Video game launches nowadays are not fun. In a sense, they're not as enjoyable as they were back in the day. Just because, I'm going to be honest with you, there's just a finite number of games I can think of that was just like, I'm so excited for the day one release of it. Versus there's just so many games that are just like, why the fuck did you make this? And why the hell did you release it in this fucking state? One game I was looking forward to, and actually I just talked about it, was Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the way I saw this game was I didn't play it or anything. I didn't buy it. I was going to. I still am. I don't know when, but later on, whenever the fuck it happens, I watched this whole entire game on fucking YouTube. And the person I watch, his name is The Rad Brad. He is an awesome fucking YouTuber. He's a cool, he does walkthroughs of entirety of the games and everything. And he did it for Cyberpunk 2077. And if I remember, I believe he played on PC because, in all honesty, console is just unplayable. It is a bug-riddled mess. And in all honesty, even the patches and everything, they did not fucking help for console. PC was kind of the only real way of playing it, just because it's PC and, you could fuck around with, like, the graphics and all this other shit and, like, fix it yourself with mods and all that crap. But, that was just an example of, I feel like companies are not really caring anymore about launches. I feel like they don't really care that their video game is somewhat going to do numbers and everything. They know that. But they don't care that, it's incomplete. It's fine. Versus back in the day, a company truly cared about their day one launches because they're just like, it's just going to be like this out the gate. There's not going to be any updates. There's not going to be any patches or anything like that. It's just going to be what it is. Hell, even stuff on like, later on like PS3 or PS4, that's when, digital started coming into it, the world, a little bit more and everything. Even then, the company still cared that, hey, I want this game to have, like, we're definitely going to put patches in later on, but I want it to be just simple, like, stability things here and there, and stuff like that. I don't want it to be like groundbreaking glitches or bugs that people are just like, holy shit, But nowadays, these companies are just like, we can release it like that and people will still fucking buy it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. People still will buy it. Hell, I've bought a lot of games day one because I truly wanted to play them. And, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that with, like, Spider-Man 2, God of War, Ragnarok, fucking Lords of the Fallen, Saints Row, the reboot, and everything like that. I've done it with those games. And, sure, they've had bugs, they've had glitches and everything. But it's one of those where it's just like, why is it that I have to pay all this money and then play this game on the very first day it's launched, and then it's basically fucked up, you know? It's just like, why didn't you really like hammer it down and just be like, you know, let's make sure that it's at least at the fucking bare minimum playable from beginning to fucking end. Let's make sure of that. Game launches nowadays are basically just whatevers at this point. Like, I feel like launches just aren't what they were. And, you know, I have to say it again. It's just they aren't complete. I feel like companies nowadays, they can create a game and it can be like years in the making. Like, for example, like GTA 6 is years in the making. And hell, it's coming out in 2025. But I think when that comes out, it's still going to be fucking riddled with bugs. It's still going to have glitches. It's still going to be unstable and shit like that. You know why? Because game companies don't necessarily care anymore. They're like, we understand that, oh, this game is fucked up. Don't worry. Just wait for the patch that comes like a fucking month or like at least like a week to 2 weeks later. Sure, but I wanted to play it now. And I can't even like fully enjoy it. Sure, and one thing I will say is that it's not all games that do that. I feel like a lot of indie games and everything, like smaller publishers and everything like that, developers, they truly care about their launches. Because they understand we're just an indie company. We're not big conglomerate like fucking Bethesda or Square Enix or like, you know, Rocksteady or some, you know, shit like that. We're not big name like that, you know. We really care about what we're putting out. Whereas the other big companies, like, you know, like just said, it's just like, just fucking throw it out there. Who fucking cares? They're still gonna buy it. Look at fucking Starfield. Starfield, in my opinion, the fact that I was able to play Starfield day one because I had Game Pass is kind of just like, holy shit, this is an Xbox exclusive and they put it on Game Pass, you know? And within the first, not even week, first few fucking days, there are so many people just making videos about, here's how you can get the best armor or the best ship because of a fucking glitch. A groundbreaking glitch or bug, and it gets you the best armor, the best weapon, the best ship, this, that, and the third. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? The fact that you can do that within the first few hours of playing this fucking game, of its fucking launch, is just like, they don't care. They don't care. They do not fucking care. Because like I said in the other segments, since digital is the way that, you know, the game industry is going to be going forward, of course, in my opinion, but digital definitely is going to be the biggest way going forward. When it comes to buying things digital, yeah, it's going to have fucked up shit. Just patch it up. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, hey, here's a patch. Here's a really big, like 5 gigabyte fucking patch to fix the game. And these fucking patches should have been in the game to fucking begin with. Video game launches are not what they used to be. They definitely are not what they used to be. And it's for that big reason that companies just don't care. Companies understand that, hey, this is like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th fucking installment in a video game. People are gonna fucking buy it. They kind of don't really care nowadays. And it's just like, and it's true. We as people, we do not care. As long, if it's like like look at fucking Call of Duty. Which one was it? The most recent, I think Modern Warfare 3, whatever the fuck. People still bought, like, numbers were still ran up to that game. And it sucks. It fucking sucks. And people are talking about it and you're just like, day one and everything, it sucked. It's slightly better now, but overall it was abysmal. It was not fun to play. And yet people still bought that shit day one. You want to know why? Because you slap on Call of Duty, people are going to come running to it. It's never gonna die out. People are still gonna buy Call of Duty shit. Hell, fucking 5 years from now, they'll make another Call of Duty game and people are still gonna buy it like crazy. Why? Because it's Call of fucking Duty. Because it's a big AAA game that basically everyone has played at least once in their fucking life, or has seen at least once in their life. And everyone is just like, yeah, I understand that it's probably gonna be shit day one of release, but it's like, whatever. I can see in the near future that a video game launch, when it comes to day one, is basically gonna be like fucking polygons and shit. And it's just like, no, it's playable. And it's like, are you kidding me? And it was just like, no, it's playable. Just wait for the patch. And then the graphics will come in later. Are you fucking serious? Are you kidding me? Is this the fucking route that we're taking? That is how I see launches. Buggy, glitchy messes that the companies are just like, oh yeah, no, we can fix this, but we're just gonna wait for like an entire week and then we'll fix it. Fuck off. Fuck the right off, because it's just like, why? Just put the patch in now. Just make it playable. Just make it good. Just make it what it's supposed to be. Just make it that. And yet, companies do not do that with these fucking launches. Day one launches nowadays are jokes. They are jokes. They are fucking jokes. And one thing I want to talk about, and I'm actually going to talk about in the next segment, are pre-orders for shit. Pre-orders now suck ass. They suck. All of the games that I have is the base shit. I do not pre-order. I do not get deluxe shit unless I know it's going to be worthwhile. All right. Deluxes, pre-orders, they suck. All right. And I'm going to get into that right fucking now. Okay, so to start off this segment about pre-orders and, deluxe editions of video games and everything like that, I have pre-ordered not that many games. In my lifetime, I've only pre-ordered that of, from what I remember, is Assassin's Creed 3 when it first came out way back for the Xbox 360, I believe, and fucking Crash 4, It's About Time. Because I am a huge fucking Crash fan. I am a huge Crash Bandicoot fan. So, of course, I pre-ordered it. Months on end. As well as CTR, Nitro Fuel. Months on end. Alright? Those pre-orders were fucking worth it. And here is why. Those pre-orders, they gave you shit that was good. Now, for example, when it came to Assassin's Creed 3, they didn't necessarily give you anything monumental. But you got a really cool case. Holy shit, I love that case. I don't have it anymore because I sold it because I needed money for other shit. But pre-orders and everything, they'll give you like a cool case or like a little bit of extra stuff. And it's like, cool. Pre-order for something like CTR or Crash 4. One thing with CTR, what was cool is that if you pre-ordered it, you have early access to it. You have like 72 hours early access before anyone else. And it's like, holy shit, I can really just start playing the story before everyone, before the actual release date. That's amazing. That's awesome. Crash 4, you were able to play the demo for it before it officially came out for everyone else. And we're talking like a month or like a month or two before everyone else. And it's like, holy shit, that's awesome. That's fucking amazing, in my opinion. It was just like, it's so worth it. Pre-orders nowadays are kind of just, you bought it. Cool. What else do you want? Are you fucking kidding me? Having to do pre-orders nowadays is so not fucking worth it, because then it's just like, oh, if you look at the pre-orders of stuff, of video games nowadays, it's just like, oh, you get like this pre-order bonus of stuff and everything. It's usually fucking skins. It's nothing worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when I did Marvel Spider-Man 2, if you did a pre-order of it, you got like 5 unique suits for both Peter and Miles. Cool. Interesting. I'm probably never going to fucking wear them. I probably will never wear them. I have not bought. And here's another thing. The pre-order bonuses and everything. Oh, no. It becomes available way fucking later. But it still becomes available later. It's not a unique thing that will never happen again. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh yeah, no, this pre-order stuff is going to become available, but maybe like a month or two later. But it'll still become available. So you don't have to get it now. Don't worry about it. You don't have to get it now because you can just get it later for slightly cheaper. And it's like, well, why? Why make pre-order bonuses and they don't necessarily do anything? Hell, another pre-order bonus for the Marvel Spider-Man 2 were the skill points. Okay. Cool. I got like two skill points early on because I pre-ordered this fucking game. Okay, is that going to really do anything? Not fucking really. Sure, there's skill points, but it's fucking 2. At least give me like fucking 5. At least make it somewhat worth it. They don't even make it worth it. Nowadays, and it's the same for digital shit, but pre-orders are just a smack in your face to just being like, fuck you, you're an idiot because you just pre-ordered this game like month on end and you didn't really get anything out of it except for a couple of skins and like some potions. Fuck you, okay? And another thing they don't really do is early access. Some games still do that, don't get me wrong. If you do buy a game like digitally or anything like that, you are able to do a early download of it. So you can download the whole game early. You just can't play it. But you can download it like in its entirety. And so it's just like, oh, on day one, you can just start. And it's like, oh, that's cool. You can't play it early. There were a decent amount of pre-order games back in the day that if you pre-order, in the pre-order thing, it was just like, if you pre-order it, you get 72-hour access. Usually it's about 72 hours, which is about like 3 days, just about. Yeah. About like 3 days, like early access. And it's just like, that's amazing. That's cool. You get to play it early before anyone else. If you aren't, and you know, this is my opinion, if you aren't like a big like YouTuber who does gaming or, big, like IGN or shit like that, you're not going to get the game early. Even if you pre-order it. You will not be able to play the game early. And it sucks because it's just like, a big thing with pre-orders is just like, oh, you get perks or, you don't have to worry about it later and everything like that. The perks for pre-ordering stuff now sucks. Whether it's physical or digital or what have you. They literally just smack you in the face. Just to be like, you pre-ordered this game like 5 months in advance. And you can't even do anything when it's like very close. Sure, you get this cute little fucking countdown of like, oh, you're able to play this in about fucking 3 fucking months and shit. But you can't play it early. You don't have like good stuff when it comes to like playing in it. You don't get like a specialty type of weapon. You don't get specialty type of fucking anything. It's literally like skins, potions, and skill points. That's it. Fuck off. Make it worthwhile, damn it. Video games, companies, I'm talking to you. Make it worthwhile. Make it so that it's just like, these pre-orders, you will never see these pre-order things again. Whether it's hell, even if it's just skins. If under the fucking skin, there's like a fucking asterisk and it says, you will never see this shit in the light of day ever again. And it's like, are you serious? So it's like, oh, if I don't pre-order this, I will never, ever see these fucking skins. Cool. That makes it kind of worth it. Because now it's just like, you kind of have something that no one else is ever going to have. It's a little bit worth it. Not much, but a little bit. But pre-orders just suck. They just suck. And then they want to make the pre-orders so fucking long. Holy shit. I forgot how long I waited for Crash 4, but it was months. It was fucking months. And part of me was just like, I'm so glad I had the demo, as well as I had the Insane Trilogy, I had CTR, so I was just like, I have a decent amount of stuff to hold me until Crash 4. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine with that. But making pre-orders 5, 6 months, 7 months in advance, it's like, oh my God, why? Just make it like 2 months. 2 months, 3 months max. So that then we're not dying of fucking anticipation. Just be like, I pre-ordered this game because I know it was going to be big. And then you get it and you're just like, it's shit. Pre-orders are jokes. They are just jokes of what they are. And don't get me wrong, it's not every single game is like that. Not every single game when it comes to pre-ordering, they suck. All right, there are some good games out there for pre-orders. I can't think of any because there's just a big slew of shit pre-order perks nowadays. But let me just say, at least it's not digital deluxe or ultimate editions of video games with ridiculous fucking prices, might I fucking add. At least it's not that, all right? So let's get into fucking deluxe and ultimates and all that other bullshit, all right? Let's get into those. Okay, so last segment, I talked about pre-orders. Now, let's talk about deluxe game, like deluxe editions of games, because all games nowadays have them. All AAA games will have that. And let me tell you, they suck. Oh my God, they suck. Jesus Christ, they suck. Oh my God. I have to say it so many times because it's I say this word a lot, but it's just fucking abysmal. I'm trying to remember which game it was. I think it was God of War Ragnarok. This is the crazy thing. The God of War Ragnarok DLC, the deluxe edition of it, I was like, go fuck yourself. Because it was like you get a digital art book and like a soundtrack and like some armor that is not even like game breaking or anything like that, or is like good until you get like the really later end shit. It's like shit armor that you get that is like, it is good for maybe like the first 3-4 hours of the game, and then you just come upon better shit. That's it. That's the fucking deluxe. That's what I'm paying. Instead of $75, I'm paying like $90 for. Go fuck yourself. Absolutely, go fuck yourself. Because a lot of games do that now. A lot of games will give a soundtrack, a digital art book, and shit armor or like a shit weapon that becomes motherfucking obsolete after you find like something 10 times better. And it's like, I didn't have to pay for this, did I? When I say there technically is only, in my opinion, one type of game, like genre of video game, that it's kind of worth it to get deluxe editions of, that is fighting games. And the only reason I say that is because deluxe fighting games give you characters. They give you different fighting characters. Other games do not do that. They'll give you skins that is like, oh, it's kind of like exclusive because the deluxe. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Because they are not. All right. You can literally wait like a month later and it's just like, oh, hey, look, remember this skin that you said was fucking exclusive for the deluxe edition? Oh, I can buy it now for cheap, for like $4. Fuck off. Fighting games are kind of the only reason deluxe games are good, because fighting games, you'll be able to get like the DLC or like the early access sometimes of more characters. The roster will grow. Other than that, any other fucking type of game, it's not worth it. I guess maybe racing, because sometimes when it comes to deluxe, when racing and everything, you get like brand new cars and everything like that. But one thing I will say, something like Need for Speed or some shit like that, you can literally soup up a car to the point where that fucking deluxe edition type car that you just got, yeah, you don't really need it. You just souped up this one car and it's a fucking beast. Why'd I pay deluxe? And another thing when it comes to, and let me tell you this though, ultimate editions of video games are even bigger jokes of deluxe games. Because it's just like, fuck off. All right. When it came to, and I'm going to actually talk about Saints Row, the reboot Saints Row. There were 3 additions. Not additions, but like 3 different packs. And it's the base game, which is what I bought because I'm not going to shell out over $100 for shit. Then there was the deluxe, and it basically just gave you skins. Fuck off. And then the ultimate. Basically everything in the deluxe, a couple more skins, and an entire fucking game. And I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. Sure, I can shell out over $100 for skins that I'm never gonna fucking use, that you never even get to fucking see because it's on your fucking gang that you never really call because you're a fucking one-man army in this goddamn game. And a whole entire game that is just like, why the fuck did you just give me another game? I'm buying this thing for this game, not another game. Fuck off. It literally gave you like, which game? I think it was Saints Row the 3rd. And I'm just like, why are you giving me a whole other fucking game? I bought the ultimate for this game. Give me more stuff for this game. Don't give me a whole other fucking other game that's been out that I can literally buy for like fucking $10. Why? That's a joke. It's dumb. It's like, what the fuck? A very recent one that I saw, and I was like, this is straight dog shit, is the Naruto, what is it, Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections game. And it was, I think, the same as Saints Row. It was 3. So you had the base game, and then deluxe, and then the ultimate. And it literally was just like, it was kind of worth it. And here's the thing, it's a fighting game. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of worth it. Then you look at the perks, and it's like, oh no, all of the roster itself is basically complete. It's all 4 games, plus a couple of other characters that will be included in the base game. So it's like, then what the fuck am I paying for the ultimate? You know? And it's like, oh, skins. What? And then the ultimate one, it was just like, oh yeah, you get those skins for said characters. Like there was like a Naruto skin. I think it was maybe a different character. I don't know. I think a different Naruto character. I don't know. I didn't care. But then I looked and it said, oh yeah, you also get these skins for the Shinobi Strikers thing. And I was just like, the game that basically no one really fucking played, I get stuff for that. Oh, joy. Oh, fucking joy. I just spent over $100 for this fucking thing. And I got skins. And then more skins for another game that I don't play. So it's obsolete. Because it's just like, I'm not going to use these skins at all. So what the fuck was the point? Fuck off with deluxes and ultimates. And another thing, putting in the season pass for shit is so bullshit, because DLC nowadays, it literally will take months on end to release one fucking pack of the DLC. And it's like, oh yeah, there's like 3 packs. Go fuck yourself. Again, I've said it before in this segment and other segments. Go fuck yourself. Look at fucking Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I bought the season pass for it. And I was just like, I kind of don't want to. Because it kind of feels like it's stupid. But it's one of those where it's like, oh, you already have the season pass, so all of the DLC is free for you and everything. When I played Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I was like, this is fun. I got bored of it very quickly. Mostly just because I kind of 100%ed everything. But then, I'm waiting for the DLC. And the DLC sucks. It doesn't add like new story or anything. Sure, it gave you God. It gave you a Super Saiyan God mode. You were able to fight Beerus and Weiss. But if you got that DLC, you could literally just power your way through the regular story of Kakarot, aka just Dragon Ball Z. Because when you got that DLC, whenever you fought Wise and everything, like he had like different levels and shit, like challenges. You could literally get like this sacred water shit, and it literally just gives you levels. When I say it gives you levels, I mean it gives you fucking levels. And it's like, okay. But you had to wait like fucking 3 to 4 months for the first DLC. And then you had to wait another like 3 months for the second one, and that gave you blue. And freaking gold Frieza. But that's it. It just gave you that shit. It's like, it didn't give you a story really or anything like that. Fight Frieza golden now. And you have blue. Okay. I didn't even bother. I did not bother with the fucking third one. I was just like, I don't care. I think the third one, they actually did an actual story. And I think it was like future Gohan and Trunks and shit. But I was just like, it was not worth it. It was so not worth it. And I shelled out more money for this. And I was like, why? I should have just waited. Because fuck you. Okay? DLCs suck. They just suck. I understand that it's just extra stuff. So, it's probably not going to be a lot of content. Which makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, make it fucking enjoyable. Make it worthwhile on why it is that we should buy the deluxe edition with the season pass in it. Make it fucking worthwhile. Because shelling out an extra fucking $20 for a deluxe edition of a video game, and it's gonna give you as close to nothing that it can, is a fucking smack in the face. That is a punch. That is an outright punch, drop kick to the fucking face. I shelled out an extra $20 for this shit, and you gave me as fucking close to nothing that you possibly fucking could. Again, go fuck yourself. You gave me skins, you gave me potions, and digital art books and a soundtrack that I will never fucking look at. Go fuck yourself. Absolutely go fuck yourself. And then you have the audacity to say the Ultimate Edition has even more skins and the season pass, and it's over $100 fucking dollars. No, because why? I only see the worth in it if it's a fucking fighting game. I bought the Tekken 7 Ultimate Edition that is over $100. I bought that shit for like $40 because it was on sale. That's an amazing fucking thing. Borderlands 3 was a fantastic way of how how deluxe edition should fucking be. And I bought it cheap. I bought everything cheap, mind you. Deals are my fucking bread and butter. But Borderlands 3 gave you weapons, it gave you skins, which I'm just like, whatever. But it also gave you DLC. And when I say it gave you DLC that was fucking worth it. It gave you brand new fucking story missions, characters, dialogue, all that shit. It gave you more stuff. DLC nowadays is a soundtrack, a digital art book, and skins, and potions. That is all it fucking is. That is all it fucking is. Again, and say it with me, go fuck yourself. They are so not worth it. Go back to what they used to. Go back to better deluxe editions. Give us stuff. Give us early access to the video game. Pre-orders. Give us more than just skins. Deluxes. Give us something worthwhile. If you're just gonna slap on and just say, this is a fucking deluxe version, just because it's skins that you can't buy right now, is not a deluxe version. It is a fuck you. That is what it is. It's a fuck you. And then you want to go ahead and make some of those skins more fucking money. So it's like, oh, so technically you'll be saving money if you buy the deluxe edition. Fuck off. Fuck the right off. Fuck off. Because that is just unfair. Because now it's just like, oh, maybe I wanted to check out this thing. oh yeah, it's like $10 for this skin. And it was just like, well, if you bought it with the deluxe, you'll be saving like $5. Fuck off. It is a skin. It literally does absolutely nothing to the fucking story. It does nothing for the game except you look different. And hell, even if it's like a video game that's like first person, what the fucking point is the point? What is the point? You're not even gonna be able to look at yourself. Again, fuck off. Deluxe editions and ultimate editions and whatever, and gold editions and platinum editions and all that shit, they are nothing. Just get the base game. Because guess what? It'll be worth it. Oh, but I got the season pass. That does nothing. That DLC isn't coming out for another fucking half a fucking year. Alright? Sure, you have the season pass. You have all the DLCs whenever they drop. It's going to be a hot fucking minute for them shits to drop. And then they're gonna be shit DLC. And you're just like, I want my money back. But you can't get your money back. Deluxe editions, gold editions, platinum editions, ultimate editions, they are jokes. They are fucking jokes. These are not perks. It's shit that they're just like, just put it in there. It's like when you're making like a mystery box and you just put random shit in there. That is what deluxe editions are. That is what they are. It's just like, just put them in there. Why not? And just up the price. They are jokes. Soundtracks that I know I'm never gonna come back. Why the fuck would why give me a soundtrack? The fuck am I gonna do? Just listen to this shit? No. I can find this shit on like YouTube or something. Why the fuck would I pay for it? Oh, just to play it on the PS5 instead of playing games and shit? No, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, a digital art book? What the fuck I'm gonna do? Look at the pictures, say how cool it looks, and then that's it? No! Deluxe editions are jokes. They are jokes. They are fucking jokes. Do not buy them. Why? The perks are just not worth it anymore. And then you want to fuck around and just be like, oh yeah, and then we're just going to give you more skins and stuff for a whole other fucking game that you do not own. It's like, why? Why the fuck is that a perk? You're giving me skins for another game that I do not play. Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Fuck off. Fuck off. Make deluxe editions worthwhile. Make them worthwhile. Give us perks that will actually make us want to get deluxe editions. I am always looking at games nowadays and I'm looking at the deluxe editions and I'm just like, it's the same type of perks. A soundtrack, a digital art book, and skins and potions or whatever, or skill points. It's make it worthwhile. Give us stuff you know is exclusive to the deluxe editions. Do not give us bullshit. Do not give us that. Because then it's just like, you will lose money. Because no one's going to buy these shits. No one's going to get these. You want to know why? Because the base game has better looking skins. They have better shit. And it's like, oh, you just got this weapon from the deluxe edition. It sucks. Do not give in to deluxe editions, platinums, gold, ultimate, all those extra stuff. Get the base game. Because that's all that's fucking worth it. You get the base game, that's hours upon hours of enjoyment. You get the deluxe edition, you will be mad as you play these fucking games. You will be mad. And then you can just upgrade. They now, PS5, I see it more on PlayStation, on PS5 and everything. You can literally just buy the base game and then just upgrade it to the deluxe now. And it's just like, so I don't even have to buy the deluxe outright. I can literally upgrade it whenever the fuck I want. They are jokes. If you are listening to this podcast right now and you're just like, oh, I love getting deluxe editions, you're a joke. really look at the perks and tell me a $80 price, fuck that, a $90 price, a $100 price, it's worth those fucking perks. You fucking comment and say, no, it's worth it. It's fucking not. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. And you know what? I just thought of the next segment. Let's talk about DLC and how some of them are complete and other shit. All right, let's get into it. Now, this next segment kind of isn't going to be as long as the deluxe edition one because I just had a lot of gripes about that. But this next segment is going to be about DLC, right? And we all know what DLC stands for, downloadable content, right? It's extra stuff. Cool. Extra stuff. Cool, new story mission campaigns or anything like that. And let me tell you, there's a lot of games and they actually give you good stuff. For example, look at fucking God of War Ragnarok. They just released the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC for free, might I add, for free. And it gives you even more hours of just enjoyable shit, just more content. And it's like, wow, you didn't have to. Ragnarok's already a great game. You didn't have to give us this DLC. And yet you did, and you give us fucking like cool Easter eggs and references to the old God of War games. You didn't have to. And for free, this is hours of just more enjoyable stuff. And you gave that to us for free? What the fuck did we do to deserve that? What did we do to deserve that? Absolutely nothing, mind you. But I digress. There are a lot of games out there that the DLC, in my opinion, it's worth it. It's so worth it. Look at Outer Worlds or Fallout 4 or the Borderlands games or even something like Ali World. Those games, or even Saints Row. The reboot, not the original one, but the reboot. It's also good. They literally give you brand new story campaigns. They give you brand new places to adventure out into, within the original map of it. It makes the map bigger. It gives you, new sometimes like new mechanics or anything like that. Like Ali World. I enjoy Ali World. If you never played that, definitely check it out. It's such an enjoyable game. So it's very simple, but it can get very intriguing and more complex later on in the levels. But of course, I was one of them. I bought the deluxe version, and I just talked about how deluxe editions suck ass. But I also talked about there are some deluxe versions that they'll give you DLC and everything, even though you have to wait for it. It's so fucking worth it. I didn't wait that long for the Ali World. I think it was maybe like 3 months for the first one, and then it was like a month for each one after that. And it was like 3 DLC. And then each DLC was its very own story campaign. It gave brand new mechanics. It gave brand new levels. It even affected the original base game in a sense. And it was just like, that's fucking awesome. Like with Ali World, the first one was the Void Riders. I can't speak. And with it, you got, of course, a bunch of different new, customization stuff, boards and all that shit. But then you got like some brand new tricks and new mechanics that are happening and everything. And then you go into the base game and it's just like, oh yeah, the base game, like certain levels, they've been updated. They now have those mechanics in them. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's awesome. There are some DLCs that are just absolutely worth it. Do not get me wrong. And those are the DLCs that sometimes you have to pay for them. Most of the time you have to pay for them. Sometimes it can be like Ragnarok Valhalla and it's free. Just because it's just like, why not? We love you guys. We love everyone who's playing this game. So let's just give it to them. But those are the ones that are worth it. Okay? They're worth it. And again, look at fighting games. Look at racing games. You're getting brand new characters. You're getting brand new combos. You're getting brand new racing mechanics. You're getting brand new cars and everything that you've never seen before in the base game because they're not in the base game. And it's just like, that's awesome. Fighting games are a perfect example for DLCs done right, because like I said, you're getting brand new characters that otherwise you would never see in the base game. Look at Mortal Kombat fucking 1. They gave us Omni-Man, Homelander, Peacemaker. They're not part of the Mortal Kombat 1 universe. They're not part of Mortal Kombat. No. You know why? Because they're just like, it's DLC. It's something different. Look at Tekken 7. Tekken 7 gave us fucking Negan from Walking Dead. It gave us Noctis from Final fucking Fantasy as a DLC character. That is fucking awesome. And let me tell you, he is so fun to play as. Oh my god. Fighting games are such a great example of DLC done right, because it intrigues us. And DLC, something like Borderlands 3, or like I said, Fallout, Outer Worlds, giving us entire stories, entire new maps, levels, and just more dialogue, more characters, and making us fall in love with these characters, making us fall in love with this extra little, this extra dessert that we just got. It's like, wow. Like, we just enjoyed this fucking beautiful fucking entree. And you want to go ahead and give us a fucking dessert that, we had to pay a little bit extra. But you gave us such a beautiful experience. Just a bit extra. And it's like, it's so worth it. So worth it. But then there are so many DLCs that is like, why the fuck is this a DLC and not just part of the base game? There are some where there's just like, it's not really a DLC, and I'll come back to it. Fucking Kakarot. Sure, the DLC for Kakarot, it gave us Super Saiyan God and Blue, but it's like, that's it. That's like the biggest thing that it gave us. And it's like, I don't understand why we had to wait this long for basically nothing. Sure, we have God. Now we can punch harder and shit. But it's like, you're not going to give us a story? And it's just like, the second DLC, it basically was Fukatsu no F, the Golden Frieza shit. And it was like, okay. But that was it. It's just like, it didn't really do anything for me. Like, it was like, why? The only DLC that was kind of worth it was the third one. But by then, 2 DLCs deep, it's just like, it's not worth it. I don't fucking care. There was nothing intriguing about it. Another pair of DLCs that was just like, why the fuck were these DLCs? I'm going to go back a little bit further, and I'm going to do Immortals Phoenix Rising, which, let me just say this. If you never played Immortals Phoenix Rising, get on that, because it's honestly a really fun game. It's simple mechanics, not that crazy, but it's a pretty big open world. There's, in my opinion, the story is okay. It's not anything like groundbreaking, but it's about like, the Greek gods, about like Zeus and Aphrodite and all that shit. And it's about like, becoming a god and all that shit. It's fun. It's enjoyable. The DLC, however, sucked ass. Now, within Immortal Phoenix Rising, in the base game, you have a bunch of challenges that you can go into. They're called Tartarus Pits, basically. And within those is like challenges within them and everything. It's like you have to like do this and the third and figure out what to do to progress through the pit and everything and get the Zeus lighting and shit. The first DLC was basically that, just turned to 11. It was nothing but those type of challenges. Just turned to 11. Some of them were fun. It was like fighting challenges. So it was like, just an onslaught waves of enemies. And it was like different enemies and everything. So it's like, oh, that's cool. Seeing how like they, interact with each other and everything. Cool. Fun. But that's it. That is all what the DLC was. They just cranked it to 11. And I'm just like, okay. I guess there's nothing horrible about that. But then you come into the second DLC, and I was just like, this didn't have to be made. The second DLC was basically a reskin. Now, what do I mean by that? The second DLC, not too long. I think it was about like 4 or 5 plus hours of gameplay. But basically, you weren't Phoenix anymore. It was taking part in the Chinese mythology. That's basically what it was. It was basically Immortal Phoenix Rising, but Chinese mythology. And it was like 5 minutes. And it was 5 minutes. It was like 5 hours of DLC. Everything was just a reskin. There was nothing absolutely different. It was just, it looked different. The characters still played the same. All of the enemies still had the same type of patterns and everything. Your powers and everything, I think the powers were slightly different, but in all honesty, it was the same shit. The only difference was the final boss, because it was a different type of final boss. And I was just like, okay, it wasn't really worth it. Cause I'm just like, why? Like, it's not different. It's not that different. It's just a reskin and with Chinese mythology. I would like just play the base game. You get a lot more enjoyment out of that. And then the third DLC, let me just say this. The third DLC, I think, was the strongest one because they made it like Diablo. It was top down. You're playing as a brand new character. They give you a shit ton of fucking content. Let me just say that for this third DLC. They give you a decent amount of content. They give you new gods and everything. Phoenix, who you play as in the original, is now the god that you're following and everything like that. They bring in Hades. They bring in Poseidon. They bring in another fucking god that I don't remember because I never finished the DLC because I got fucking bored of it. And, you know, it was interesting. But at the same time, it was just like, I'm bored. This isn't intriguing anymore. Sure, it looks different. It's top down, all that shit. But I'm just like, I can't be bothered. It basically is if you played the base game top down. That's it. That's literally what it was. And I'm just like, you can get away with this for but so long. And that's just a big example of just DLC not being worth it to buy. Because it's just like a lot of DLC is like that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of DLC out there nowadays that is like they give you brand new stories and characters and shit. But I'm just like, the stories suck. They fucking suck. And I'm just like, what's the point of the DLC and like buying season pass if you have to wait so long for it? You know, it's just like, why do I have to wait like 5 months for disappointment? Like, I just waited 5 months for disappointment. I can get that now. All I have to do is just look in a fucking mirror. But you're telling me I have to wait? And I paid? I was just like, fuck off. Give us stuff like Ragnarok Valhalla. Give us stuff like the first Marvel Spider-Man game. And they gave us, what was it called? It was the trilogy. The City Never Sleeps, some shit like that. Or the Night City, whatever. And it was a whole entire new campaign at night and everything. Give us stuff like Borderlands 3 and give us like riveting story campaigns. Give us stuff like fucking Fallout 4 and it's like brand new areas, brand new characters, more campaign, more story. Give us something worthwhile for this DLC. Same thing with like the deluxes and pre-orders. Give us stuff that is worth it in these DLCs. And I'm seeing a lot of DLC and it's not even that. DLC is like the fucking deluxes. They just give you skins. I'm like, fuck you. I just shelled out like fucking $12 and all I get is some skins and shit and a mediocre extra campaign that I'm never gonna come back to. Fuck off, okay? Don't do that, all right? DLCs as a whole is not bad. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. A lot of, in my opinion, a lot of games are saved by some of the DLCs. I'm not looking at Ragnarok. Ragnarok was already a fantastic game that got boosted with Valhalla. But a lot of DLCs are kind of just not worth it because it's like, what's the point of the DLC if it's not really going to give you anything more intriguing? Going to give you like hours upon end of enjoyment, you know? You understand, hey, it's DLC. It's not going to be much. It's not going to be like the base game. Yes, I understand that. But make it worthwhile. For example, like the Phoenix ones. Don't give me stuff that's going to be like 2-3 hours and it's just nothing. You know? It's just stuff that I'm just like, I'm just going to play it real quick and that's it. You know, I'm not really going to feel intrigued to be like, you know, I really want to explore all of what this DLC has to offer. And then I'm in the DLC for like 10 plus hours. And I'm just like the base game, I'm still intrigued. You know, give us that. Don't give us nothingness. Don't give us like 2-3 hours of extra stuff that literally is going to amount to absolutely nothing. You know, give us the good, give us stories, give us campaigns, give us characters. Give us stuff that you know is going to drive your sales up even more. You know, don't give us DLC that we just shelled out so much and it's just like, it's like a short campaign here, a skin there, and a weapon. Fuck you. I've said this so many times. I think the name of this episode is going to be called "The Video Game Industry Isn't Dead, but Go Fuck Yourself." I think that's going to be the name of this fucking episode at this point. Because I say it so many times. But at the same time, DLC is not dwindling, but it's just not... And the number one thing I have to say is it's just not as good as it once was. A lot of games, they understand that, and they understand that we're going to give you good DLC, but then you have to wait like 6-7 months for it, and it's like, I forgot about you. Like 5 big ass games came out waiting for this DLC, and I was just like, I don't care about you anymore. I'm busy playing this other shit. I'm busy working on my back catalog. I forgot about you. I don't care anymore. You're not intriguing. You're not interesting anymore. I don't care about this DLC anymore. And it's like, that's what sucks. It doesn't keep that intriguing. It doesn't make you say, I'm so excited for this DLC. It's just a whatever DLC. Just give us just give us good DLC. That's it. Just give us like at least 5, in my opinion, 5 to about 8, maybe 6. I think 8 is the max and 5 kind of is the minimum. That amount of hours, right? Depending on how long it takes to actually beat the base game and everything, give us like a chunk of that, right? As a DLC. Perfect. Make it be new story. Make it be an intriguing campaign. Make it be, you know, brand new characters that you're going to fall in love with or fully on fucking hate. Give us that. Make it so that we fall in love with the game all over again from a slightly different angle. That is all us as gamers. That's all we ask for. If you are planning to create DLC, right? And you know what? Just to make it more intriguing, hint it. Make little Easter eggs here and there. Marvel Spider-Man 2, I don't know what DLCs will be coming, but Marvel Spider-Man 2 has given us several Easter eggs that a lot of people have been looking at, like the Daredevil one, the Into the Spider-Verse story, little thing collecting all those spider bots and everything. It's given us stuff like that, right? All these Easter eggs and everything. And it's just like, there are certain enemies that were in the first Marvel Spider-Man that's not in the second one, so maybe they'll be back in the DLC or something. It's so fascinating to be like, who knows how many DLCs will come from Marvel Spider-Man 2. It might just be one big one, or it might be a couple of them, like the first one, and it was like a trilogy. Who knows? Who fucking knows? But with so much, you know, the Easter eggs and the different missions and everything, it's just like the DLC could go any fucking direction, right? Any direction. And it's just like, that's what makes it intriguing. Because now it's just like you're on, not your tippy toes, but you're on like somewhat on the edge of your seat waiting for the DLC to be announced to know like I was right. You know, it's going to be about Daredevil. It's going to be, you know, an Into a Spider-Verse full-on campaign. Or, you know, it's going to be something completely fucking right field. And it's like, holy shit, none of us saw this coming. Give us those type of DLCs. And then give us a decent amount of content within those DLCs. Because people will buy that. You have people like giving reviews and everything, talk about DLC. It was just like, yeah, it's so riveting and everything like that. People will buy the DLC. Don't give us nothing. Give us something. Give us those campaigns. Give us DLC that will literally just unlock more of a fucking map. Because that's what Saints Row, the reboot, did. The DLC in Saints Row is like new stories and everything, like a couple of new campaigns and everything. But it gives us brand new fucking areas and the fucking map to explore. Are you kidding me? The map is already decently big. You're gonna give us more? That's what I'm talking about. Just give us more of what we are already enjoying. Don't give us nothing. Don't give us fucking skins. Don't give us that shit. Because then we're just like, who cares? Don't give us mediocre campaigns. Because then it's just like, who fucking cares? Give us more of what we are already enjoying. That's it. The frontline sinker. Give us more of what we are already enjoying. Because that is what DLC is. That is what downloadable content is. It is just more of stuff that you are already enjoying. Just more of it. That's it. Just give us that. Just give us that. Okay, so another segment that I want to talk about in the gaming industry is indie games and AAA games. Now, I definitely want to say that AAA games are still good. There's just a lot more of them that are either just run-of-the-mill, same shit, or mediocre. A big one that I will definitely have to say about that one is like Call of Duty, like the most recent one, whichever fucking one it is, Modern Warfare 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 million, whatever. It's the same stuff, makes sense, but nobody was captivated by it. And it's just like, it's understandable. The way Call of Duty has been recently, in the recent years and everything, they've really turned away from the campaign aspect and have just been focusing heavily on multiplayer and making sure that works and everything like that. Sometimes even then the multiplayer doesn't even work, but overall I feel like something like that, it really shows that AAA games are kind of just making the same shit over and over again. And again, there's nothing bad about that. I mean, Tekken 8's coming on, it looks amazing. I've played the demo for it and it's fucking amazing. There's Mortal Kombat 1, that's been great. God of War, Ragnarok, Valhalla, the DLC just dropped for it and everything. You have Marvel Spider-Man, you have Crash 4, you have Final Fantasy 16. You have a lot of AAA games that I feel are kind of really good, but then you have that one really good AAA game, but then you have a million other really fucking fantastic indie games. And what I definitely need to say is that when it comes to the gaming industry, check out indie games. It's kind of like the same for like anything else, like music and anime and cartoons and everything. Go underground, because I promise you this, you will find so much enjoyment in that shit. Also, another good thing is that they won't cost fucking $70 goddamn dollars. That's another big thing. Indie games will never cost like $70 because it's indie. It's an indie game, it's a small company and everything. But look at some of the biggest indie games that have been dropping recently. There's stuff like Blasphemous 2, Cocoon, and Cocoon is made by the same people who worked on Inside and Limbo. Holy shit. You have Sea of Stars and Eastward. Oh my god, Eastward. Let me just tell you, Eastward is kind of the indie game and everything, and it's not necessarily a JRPG. It's kind of like it promotes itself as a dungeon crawler. And let me just tell you, I bought this game for my Switch, because that's what it was on. It was also on Xbox, but I got it for the Switch. And I think I got it like a couple days after it came out. Around this time, this was way before I got my Xbox, about like a year or two. So I had my PS5 and I was playing like a bunch of fucking games on there, and I got my Switch and I was playing a lot of games. But one thing is, I wasn't playing a lot of games on my Switch. I was really just focusing on my PS5 because of course I had like a couple of AAA games that I was really, enjoying at the time. There was like Marvel Spider-Man. I was like replaying that. There was God of War I was replaying. There was like Dying Light and stuff. I was really just playing, a lot of AAA games. When I tell you, when I got Eastward and I started the game, I, no joke, completely cut off playing my PS5 for about a week straight. I literally just played Eastward because it was so captivating and so fun to play. Indie games, I feel, will have deeper and more impactful moments than AAA games nowadays. And I think the biggest reason is because these big conglomerates, these big companies that make the AAA games, they're kind of just like, we can kind of just make the same shit, release it, and they'll still buy it, and we'll still do crazy numbers. Which is true. It's very true. Do not get me wrong when I say there's nothing wrong with that. You can make a semi-sane type of game, and they'll still do numbers. Or you can, change up the formula and make it just different enough. People will still buy it like crazy. Don't get me wrong when I say there's nothing wrong with that when it comes to AAA games. And I love those games. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. But to find something like Eastward, and it's not like a big game or anything like that. Like, people weren't like, the marketing for it wasn't crazy or anything like that. But to have a game like that, and it boasted about 20 plus hours of gameplay, of story and everything, and just the story, the characters, the interactions and everything was so fucking amazing. It was more amazing than some other AAA games that I was playing at the moment, because I was just like, it can't, how can I put it? The depth for it and everything, it really made me like feel connected to the characters, versus a lot of AAA games, they don't necessarily do that anymore. Like, I never really feel connected to any of the characters in any AAA games. Like, for example, like, I don't like Kratos. Maybe in the newish one you kind of feel it and everything, but like certain AAA games is they're kind of just like run of the mill shit. But a lot of indie games will make you like really, really, truly care for these characters at such a deeper and more meaningful level, just because of the amount of work that is put into these characters. And I think that's one big thing that's different between AAA games and indie games. It's smaller companies, smaller groups and everything that are making these games and everything, but they're putting so much, like blood, sweat, and tears into these games, and so much more effort is being put into these games. And even when they're released, they're just like, I want people to really just enjoy the moments in these games that is just like so impactful, And I love that. AAA games nowadays, I feel they've used to do that, but they definitely have gone down the road of, let's just make the next big thing and people will still enjoy it to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And they do that with like reboots and remasters and everything. And it's like catching that nostalgia type of train and everything like that. Understandably, that's fine. That's whatever. I've played the original Spyro games, and I played the Reignited trilogy, the Insane trilogy with Crash, and other games and everything. There's nothing wrong with that, but when you're making brand new games and everything, definitely try to have it be so impactful that it makes you want to just like always come back to this game. A beautiful AAA game that really does that, in my opinion, is Elden Ring. Elden Ring really makes you feel for some of the characters on such a deep, meaningful level. Like, for example, I believe her name was Reina, the blue chick. You know who I'm talking about. Funny enough, when I was playing Elden Ring, I put like 100 plus hours into this fucking game. I didn't get the generic ending that like usually everyone gets when just playing it just to play it. No, I got fucking Reina's ending. Like, I put the ring on her finger and all that shit, and I was just like, I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, that's one of like the special ending when you go down her quest and her route and everything. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I didn't get the generic ending. I was like, I usually do when it comes to the fucking From Software games. But a AAA game like that, and there's just so much content in it and everything, but it makes some of the like the small little interactions that you have with some of these characters so meaningful, you know, so impactful that it will even impact the fucking story itself. That's how indie games usually always are. Like, they always have those kind of deep interaction, meaningful moments. That is just like AAA games nowadays, they don't have those. They'll try and make them, but they're so fucking generic, or they're just like nothing, and it's just like, why the hell did you make that? But indie games, they understand that we aren't a big like a big company. I'm not even going to say the word because I can't say it anymore. We're not like a big named company or anything like that. So we really want to leave a mark with this game. And indie games usually always do that. Look at Cocoon. I've just recently started playing Cocoon, and oh my god, it is so fun. And it's made by the same people again who made Inside and Limbo. Limbo was a fucking game that I so enjoyed when I was younger. It's so simple, right? You have jumping, you have interacting. That's basically it. And you have going left and right. It is black and white. It is so, in a sense, minimalistic, if you look at it from a standpoint like that. But as you are going on this intricate and intriguing and fascinating adventure with this kid, in the search of his sister, if I remember that correctly, and you're just like, he is just going through all these different worlds and like different environments and everything, and meeting like different characters and enemies, mostly enemies, and it's just like there's no dialogue or anything, but it's so captivating. That's the number one thing. It is captivating. AAA games do not have that type of captivation that they used to have, in my opinion. Indie games give you that so many times. And with Limbo, they did that with Inside. Oh my god, Inside was great. And now with Cocoon now being, you know, intricate puzzles and everything, but then like, you know, you have like different like the character that you play as, you know, you're really getting like into the habit of always like enjoying like their style and everything. And then like even some of the weird monsters and monstrosities that are within Cocoon is just like, it's so interesting to see this. AAA games don't have that, in my opinion, as much as they used to. AAA games are, like I said, they're just making the run-of-the-mill stuff, and it's not as intriguing, it's not as captivating, it's not as interesting. Don't get me wrong, like I said, not all AAA games do that, right? Not all AAA games are like that. Look at, and I said it before, but I'll say it again, look at that of God of War, as well as God of War Ragnarok, Marvel Spider-Man 1 and 2, Elden Ring, Sekiro, I can't think of any other, Cyberpunk 2077 and stuff. Look at games like those. Those have very impactful moments and intriguing and captivating moments and events that, in a sense, in my opinion, will forever stay with you. You know, look at both Last of Us games. Holy shit. Look at Last of Us. Both part 1 and 2 had so many intriguing and beautiful moments that made you cry, made you happy, made you fucking mad as hell, but it made you truly feel something. And that is what indie games forever will always do. They make you feel something. Like deep down inside you, they make you feel something. And that is an amazing thing. Because indie games, I feel we need indie games. If the video game world were just like AAA games and stuff, I'm gonna be honest, the industry would crumble faster than anything. It would crumble because we need these indie games. We need these publishers. We need these small little companies to create these meaningful moments that makes us remember why it is that we love video games. That makes it why it is that we love whatever we're playing. These indie games, in my opinion, they really do that. They really shine when it comes to that aspect of the video game industry. We could say, oh, AAA games aren't what they used to be. Play some indie games. And then just remember, this is why I became a gamer. This is why I love video games. That's what indie games are. That's what indie companies do. They really remind you that unique and interesting and intriguing puzzles and intriguing characters, environments, and stories, they're still there. It's just they're not going to be in the big AAAs anymore. They're not going to be there. Because especially ones that have series, they are well established. Sure, it can be brand new characters or anything like that, like Final Fantasy 16. A beautiful game. Holy shit, that is a beautiful game. But we already know about Final Fantasy and so much of Final Fantasy. This is 16. And it's not even the fucking 16 installment. There are so many Final Fantasy games. Holy shit. But it was still fun. Don't get me wrong. It was still fun. Still intriguing. But then you give us something like Eastward and stuff, and it's just like, it's just amazing. It's just so much more captivating, in my opinion. And without indie games, like I said, I just said it, but without indie games, this gaming industry would definitely crumble a little bit faster. Definitely start to crumble a little bit faster. Because we need, like I said, these indie games really make us remember why it is we love video games in the first place. So if you are someone who is just like, I'm not big on like the AAA games, or they're boring or whatever and everything, look up indie games. Look up like Cocoon, Sea of Stars, Eastward. Definitely fucking Eastward. Limbo, Inside. Don't look at the ones that are just like they have like a big budget or anything like that. Look for the ones with small budgets. Look for the ones that not a lot of people are necessarily talking about. Because those are the hidden gems. Those are the really fucking good ones. Definitely check those out. So just in general, always check out indie games. Because I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to fall in love with them. And that is a fact. Now, I've been talking about the game industry for a hot minute in this episode, but in order to talk about the gaming industry, I feel like another very important aspect aren't just the video games or anything like that. It is the gamers themselves, the fans, and how they have also affected and impacted the gaming industry so much. One thing, without them, the gaming industry would be nothing, because we are gamers. We are the ones who are playing these games. One thing I have to say about fans and gamers and everything is that everyone is a gamer in some aspect. Everyone loves a certain type of game, whether it's like a simple like gacha game, or like like mobile or console, Switch, or like their PC. Everyone loves a type of game, whether it's like a video game or it's like a real game. But gamers are everywhere in the world, and they are forever expanding and multiplying and adding whatever. Video gamers will always be here. And I love the fact of that, and I also hate that fact, because fans and gamers and everything, they can be so awesome, and at the same time they can be fucking annoying. Jesus fucking Christ. I like to say that I am a casual gamer. I am not big on multiplayer games. I do not like people, in my opinion. I do not fucking like people. And I especially do not like playing with people that are fucking tryhards and are annoying and shit. If I am to do a multiplayer game, I'd rather play with my friends, because then we can just laugh and just have fun. Versus people who, if I play like Apex or some shit, they're getting mad at me because it's just like, you're not holding your way, blah, blah, like, shut the fuck up. Just enjoy the game. I feel like that's one big thing with fans. They, especially like people who are like hardcore, like multiplayer gamers or anything like that, I feel like there's nothing wrong with gamers like that, but where's the enjoyment anymore? Where's the fun? Because now it's like, I'm playing to win. Just play to have fun. Why is it that you have to be so serious when doing this, when it's like a battle royale game or a fighting game or anything like that? Just have fun. Don't think about, oh, I have to be number one or anything like that. That's so fucking annoying, because it's just like, I don't care, I don't care that, oh, you're so serious and you like work like so tirelessly to like perfect these combos and shit like that. Okay, good for you. Me, I'm going to enjoy myself and continue to enjoy this fucking game. Not feel like, oh, I finally made this fucking victory after sweating and all this shit. I'm just gonna casually enjoy the game. That's a big reason I don't like multiplayer games. A lot of people are just tryhards. And for people like me that are just like casual players, or just likes to just enjoy games for what they are, they will not get that enjoyment from the game, because there are so many fucking tryhards. There are so many people that are just like, you suck, move, or anything like that, and they like kill you or some shit like that, and it's just like, the game isn't fun. And of course, you could probably just say, oh, well, you're just not good at it or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with saying that, but at the same time, it's just like, video games were created for entertainment, for enjoyment, and you are taking that and you're now twisting it into video game is about winning. You know what I'm saying? It's about trying so hard that, if you lose, you rage and you break shit. No, video game is all about enjoyment. And there are so many fans, there are so many gamers out there that I feel like they don't understand that anymore, because that's all that we see now on like social media and shit. That's all that we see. We just see these tryhards and just raging and just getting just complete anger, just completely just getting angry at shit. And it's just like, it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not losing anything. You're not necessarily gaining anything either. You are just mad for no apparent reason. And of course, I understand that if it's like, like esports or shit like that, like you just lost a tournament or anything like that. But overall, gaming is all about entertainment. It is all about just enjoying the ride of a video game, right? That's another thing. When gamers and everything, they're always just like, oh, get good or shit like that. It's just, shut the fuck up, okay? Because guess what? I just want to enjoy this ride. Like when people talk about the From Software games, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and shit like that, saying get good is so fucking annoying, because you're just like, I can't just enjoy this game. Like, you have to continuously say shit, and then you have to fucking invade me and then just fucking kill me with overpowered shit. Fuck you. That's why I always turn that shit off. I always turn off the online crap. If I get invaded one more time, I will kill you. Just, oh my God, you're so annoying. Fuck off. But that's just the thing. Just gamers and fans like that are so fucking annoying. And what makes it worse is that there are so many of them. And, like I said, that's not everyone. There are a lot of people that are just like, I just play games for enjoyment. Those are the best type of people. because they don't care about, I don't care about being number one. I don't care about finishing the game. I just care about enjoying the game for what it is. And what the game is it's a game that you just can enjoy, whether it's by yourself, with a couple of people online, with your friends. It's a video game that you can just enjoy. And those are the people that I thoroughly can play with. You know what I'm saying? If you don't care about winning, you don't care about losing or anything like that, just be like, good game and shit like that. Those are the good gamers, in my opinion. There are so many people that, they'll just make their entire world all about winning and losing in video games. And it's just like, no, just make it about enjoying games. Video games were created for enjoyment. Video games were created for a way of escape from the real world. It's a way of not having to think about your real world problems for just a couple of hours. But then you want to go ahead and you want to bring those real world problems into the game, and it's just like I can't enjoy this game anymore. Just because of this type of shit. Now it's like my real world fucking problems are now part of the goddamn game. But to not talk about, toxic people like that, a lot of people, and I don't really do Twitch or anything like that. I'm mostly just on IG. But there's a lot of people that I follow that casually just play games, and they literally are just having the time of their life. And I'm like these are good. Like, these are the type of gamers that I'm just like, this is what video gaming is all about. Just shit ton of your friends, or it's just you and you're just enjoying the ride. Whether it's a story, whether it's multiplayer, whether it's puzzles or anything like that, you are just enjoying the ride. You know what I'm saying? You're having fun, you're laughing, you might get mad a little bit, but you're not like rage quitting and shit like that. It's just an enjoyable ride that is a memorable ride at the same time, There's so many different type of gamers, and like I said, it's the same for like any other form of entertainment out there. There are the good ones and there are the bad ones, and the bad ones can be the worst ones. But overall, fans of video games are something else, in my opinion. They are truly something else, because they come in all shapes and sizes, races, genders, whatever. Fans of video games truly love their games. They truly love them. And that's one aspect that I do love about gamers and everything. They are just so happy, and like they're just like, I just love playing games, Those are like the people that I'm just like, god damn, like you seem like a really cool person to hang out with and just chill and just play video games with. Fans of video games are, some of them can, like I said, some of them can be very toxic, can be very much just negative people that are just made to just make you hate games or gaming or a certain game or whatever. But there are even more people out there that's just like, I'm just here for the ride. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. That's people that live by a good motto. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And I'm not going to go mental and break myself just because of some toxic people. I was like, I'm just gonna turn the game off. I'm just gonna play a different game or something like that. Fans of video games really shape the video game industry, just like how fans shape any other fucking industry, music, cartoons, shows, whatever. They really shape the industry, and it's always the fans' feedback and what they say, especially like on social media nowadays. It's really like what they say about video games and everything, and like stuff that fans are like, oh, I wish this was in it, or I wish this happened and everything like that. Gaming companies do listen to that. They really do. And it's crazy how influential as a fan and as a gamer you can really be, because then it's just like, holy shit, this mechanic that I was talking about is in the next game. Is like, holy shit, so many companies will listen to their fans. A lot of companies, big name companies, they will not give two flying fucks about you. But there's a lot of companies that will just listen to you. They'll listen to the feedback. They'll look at the reviews. They'll understand like what the fans liked and what they disliked, what they felt was the strongest and what was the weakest and everything. And they will take that type of feedback and be like, the next game is going to be better. Just because we want our fans to be even more happy when playing these games. Without fans, we would not have a lot of video games. Without the gamers and everything, the toxic ones included, we would not have the world of video gaming, of what it is now. There is so much influence that fans, gamers, and everyone, there is so much influence that fans have over video games. And it's insane. It's absolutely crazy. And at the same time, it is fucking awesome. So to all of the fans out there of video games, to all of the gamers and everything, to the toxic ones, fuck off. And to the casual ones, you're awesome. But overall, to everybody, just enjoy video games. Just in general, just enjoy video games for being video games. If it's a shit game, don't play it. If it's a great game, replay it. Just enjoy them. That's it. Okay, so for this next segment, I think I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've seen like on social media and everything, of how people were saying that, gaming was so much better back in the day, and it's not the same now, blah blah blah, and everything like that. One thing I have to say to all those people that say shit like that: shut the fuck up. In all honesty, shut the fuck up. Because sure, you can say back in the day it was better. Certain aspects of the video game world was better, but overall, the video game industry, in my opinion, is just it's not like dwindling or anything. It slightly is. We do get more shit games here and there, but overall, it's not bad whatsoever nowadays. We're getting fantastic games that we could never think of in the past. Marvel Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, God of fucking War, and is now fucking Norse mythology instead of Greek mythology. Fucking Saints Row, and I know that's gonna be, a lot of people are definitely not gonna agree on me with that, but Crash 4, fucking Final Fantasy 16. So many games nowadays are just, in my opinion, they're getting better. Look at Last of Us Part 2. Fucking amazing. An amazing fucking sequel to an already amazing fucking game. And it's just like, they just made it better. And you're telling me that, video games nowadays is just shit? What games are you playing? Because you must be playing like the new Gollum game or the King Kong game. You must be playing mediocre games, because video games nowadays are just fucking awesome. All right? Sure, there's a lot of stinkers, but that's the same as in the past. There were so many stinkers back in the past. There was so much bad shit. And it's just like, and now it's just, what sucks is that it's bad shit just on bigger scales. Look at something like Anthem. Oh my God. I look up Anthem now and I'm like, it is now like $10. And I'm like, this game came out and it was like 60. It was abysmal. Holy shit. But guess what? People still slightly play it, I think. Not a lot of people, but people still play it. Look at something like, here's the biggest one. People talk about, games nowadays, when they come out, they're like horrible, unplayable and everything. Sure, takes a minute. Cyberpunk 2077. I think, in my opinion, when people talk about game launches, people of course talk about No Man's Sky, how everything that was promised kind of was not in the game, so fuck off. But and also like Fable and shit. But I think a lot of people will say Cyberpunk 2077 in general, just history of gaming, had to be one of the worst video game launches to ever happen. Maybe even worse than No Man's Sky. But to say it was completely dead, it wasn't. It took a while, of course, don't get me wrong. It took a fucking while. But they released that of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the anime, that made people... One, was an amazing fucking anime by Studio Trigger. Jesus Christ. But it made people more intrigued to buy Cyberpunk 2077. After all the patches, the fixes, the bugs and everything like that were taken out and everything, and it's like now playable. Now people are just like, Cyberpunk 2077 is amazing. The DLC Phantom Liberty, everyone is just like, it's so fucking worth it and everything. You can have a horrible launch, and then you can come back from the ashes and just be like, I'm back, bitch. Video games nowadays, that's how they're going to be released. There's no way around it. That's how they're going to be released. They're going to be released like unfinished, unpatched, and everything. And then we're going to have to wait fucking months on end and it's just several patches, several bug fixes, and stabilization and everything like that. But guess what? We're still going to be playing these games. You want to know why? Because one, they look amazing, they run better, they run faster, and it's just beautiful experiences. To say that video games nowadays suck is saying the same thing as any other form of entertainment sucks nowadays. Music, anime, cartoons. Sure, you can say it, but it's not necessarily true. It's dwindled in its heyday and like when it was like at its peak. But guess what? It's still fucking fantastic. Video games are amazing things. And the way video games are nowadays, it can connect so many people across the entirety of this entire fucking world. Whether you're in America, Canada, Italy, Mexico, fucking India, wherever, it can connect so many people across the globe. And it's just like, you could have never thought about this back in the day. Because back in the day, you never had online. It was just you and a bunch of your homies pulling up with your fucking bikes, pulling up to your house, and then all y'all just playing like Smash or something, or like playing like Mario Kart or something. Nowadays, it's just like, oh hey, I'm playing this game online with someone from fucking Minnesota, and I live in motherfucking PA. Like I would never thought that something like that would happen. Games nowadays are bigger, better. They have bigger budgets, better budgets. They have better teams behind it and everything. People that understand that the story needs to be riveting, understand that these mechanics need to really be packed down and like you need to understand it like to a T and everything. Video game creators, they understand that the video game industry isn't what it used to be. It's different. It is forever changing, just like any other form of entertainment. Music, anime, cartoons, just simple shit like that. The creators, the developers and everything, they understand that everyone is going to want more. Everyone is going to want an upgraded and evolved version of what they're getting now. A beautiful example is Crash 4. Crash fucking 4. It is about time. I am a big Crash Bandicoot fan. If I had to say what was my favorite game growing up, it was probably Crash or Jak and Daxter. Please, for the love of God, Naughty Dog, please come back with a Jak and Daxter game. I know you won't, but if you will, please, for the love of God. But look at Crash. They came back and it was Vicarious Visions. But look at both Crash 4, CTR Nitro Fueled, and then the Crash Insane Trilogy. Now, let's take away Crash 4 for a minute, and let's talk about the two remasters of a video game, of two video games that were groundbreaking when they dropped. Just truly just as beautiful and ultimately fun games to play. CTR, people have hailed it as one of the best kart racing games besides Mario Kart. It basically is second. For some people, myself included, better. That's just, of course, that's just me. This is my opinions. But they then said, we're going to bring this game back. Better graphics, slightly better, better mechanics, more characters that you can pick from, more levels, more tracks to go around, same story and everything, but it's just better. And it is. It was fucking better. Holy shit. Same thing with the Insane Trilogy. We're going to bring back all three of the games. Not one, not two, not Warped. No, we're going to do 1, 2, and Warped. We're going to bring it back. We're going to make it look better. We're going to make it sound better. We're going to make it play better. And it's just going to be an enjoyable, nostalgic feeling type of game. And guess what? It fucking worked. There is no end to video games nowadays. There's no possible ending outcome that I see for the video games. I will always see that video games will forever be evolving and they will forever be getting better and everything. Now let's bring in Crash 4. This is not a remaster. It is not a remake. It is its own entity. It is following the events of Crash Warped, the 100% ending where they're babies and shit. But it is following that. And when I say it did what the fuck it had to do, it did what the fuck it had to do. Crash 4, in my opinion, I think is the best one out of all four, in my opinion. With Warped being my second favorite. Warped was always my favorite. Warped is forever going to be fucking godly in my eyes, because that's what I grew up with. But when they brought in 4, holy shit, Warped became number 2. To say that video games have gotten worse, they're not the same as they used to be, yeah, no shit. That's because you're not looking, in my opinion. Look at Crash 4 is part of a series, but it made itself different enough from graphics, some mechanics. It made itself different enough that you can say it's its own thing, but you still feel nostalgic. You've never played this before. It's not a remake, it's not a remaster, but it just feels nostalgic. That's a modern game. Are video games still bad? Look at God of War. They took Kratos, this rage-induced Spartan man, gave him a child. He moved to, instead of Greek mythology, now Norse mythology. Of course, he is forever haunted by his past. Forever haunted by the chains, by the blades that he wields, that he forever still wields. He is forever haunted by that. But they made him more mellow. They made him more brooding, but I digress. And they made him into, he's trying to be a father to this child, to Atreus. And it's not easy being half God and half fucking giant. It's not easy being that. To say that, oh yeah, I missed the old school Kratos or whatever, sure. But this new Kratos is fucking amazing still. There's nothing wrong with change. And when I say, oh, you're not looking or anything like that, look at indie games. Look at that. Because there are so many indie games with so much uniqueness to them that is just like, and we wouldn't have never gotten these type of unique games if it wasn't for the times being the way that they are. games have not been dying. The video game industry is not dying. Sure, you can say that it's not the same as it used to be. No. Would I say that it's completely better? I wouldn't say it's completely better, but I say that it's better from what it once was. Like I said, better graphics, games run faster, so you're not waiting with fucking loading screens for like fucking 5 minutes and stuff like that. Better stories, more riveting things. It's just better stuff. So for people that are always saying that video games are bad nowadays and everything like that, just look around. And even if you still say it, even if you play games like God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, Sunset Overdrive, or, so many other games, it was just like, I don't know what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for old school games, then just play the old school games. But video games are not going to stop for people that are like that. The video game industry is not going to stop, and it's not going to halt, and it's going to be like, let's go back to what we used to be. It's never going to do that for you. Because because the industry, the companies, these developers and publishers, they understand that if we stop and we halt and we basically downgrade just so that you feel like you're back at the peak of video games and everything like that, everything is going to become shit. Then the video game industry really will die. Because now you are hindering evolution for video games. Hell, look at video games now. Video games now are slowly turning into VR games, virtual reality. And it's like, what the fuck? That's a thing now. Like, we can now like be part of the game. Like, we are now like inside the game. That's evolution right there. And you're telling me the video game industry is dying? We can now be parts of the game's story. We are now inside the game. We are now truly inside the game. It's not fully SAO. I fucking pray for one day that does happen, though. If we can get to a point where they create, where, well, I don't know which company will do it, but if we can do shit and it's like fucking SAOs, like not the newer one, whatever the fuck it's called, I don't remember. If we can get to that point in video games, damn, that would be fucking amazing. Because then it's just like, we are in the game. We're like, oh, we're no longer playing the game. We are the fucking game. We are the game. The video game industry is not dead. It is not dying. It is just not what it used to be. And that's okay. Nothing is what it used to be. And it shouldn't. There is nothing wrong with change. Change is good as long as you do it correctly. But it's just a lot of practices that the video game industry has done when it comes to like marketing and promoting and everything like that. A lot of practices I wish were what they used to be, because they were more impactful back in the day. Nowadays, it's kind of just like a deluxe edition that's not really a deluxe edition, DLC that isn't really DLC, buying stuff digital but you don't really get any perks for it, pre-ordering stuff but you don't really get a lot of perks for it and everything like that. That's understandable. Back in the day, you pre-order stuff, holy shit, you got some pretty good perks. You got a deluxe edition, holy shit, you're gonna get something even better. I understand there are certain practices that is just like, I don't understand why the video game industry is doing this, but that's how it is nowadays. That's how people are. But there's nothing wrong with the state that the video game industry is in, because in my opinion, I think we've gotten fantastic games in the past, I'll say the past 3 years, including the year of when everything was shut down, 2020 with COVID. We've gotten fantastic games throughout, from the PlayStation to the Xbox to the Switch to PC. We've gotten fantastic games. I'm just like, these games would not be possible without change, without evolving, without upgrading ourselves. So to anyone who does say I hate video games nowadays. They're not the same or anything like that. I don't know what to tell you. You maybe you as an individual just aren't changing. But video games will forever change, and they will forever try to fit our needs. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, they're going to change. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.